Hello everybody, welcome to my channel Ashley's Treasure, and I am doing the letter I for the ABC April 2025 collaboration. And as you can see, I am not at home. I am up north at my dad's right now, so I was improvising because I forgot to bring all the stuff that I had planned to continue this project, and I completely forgot because I was so worried about packing everything else that I didn't bring my art stuff, and I didn't bring the thing that I used to hold my phone so I could do videos. And so I was compromising and trying to figure things out to work. I am actually in the living room using the table, and then on the left side there's this like little shelf thing that was high enough that I actually got my phone laying on, and then I got a heavy book on top of it to hold it in place. So it's very awkward, and I'm sorry about that. It also doesn't have the best lighting, but again, I was working with what I got, and sadly I was not able to do the voiceover for this and post it as soon as I wanted to. But what I am doing is from the haul that I showed for the letter H. Granted, that was not what I originally had planned, but I did a haul, and I'm using the stuff that I got. I'm using the scrapbook paper that I got from actually Walmart, which I was actually quite impressed with. Granted, it is thinner paper, but it wasn't bad. I liked the design to it. And I got some blank index cards from Walmart. The pictures of the flowers I got from a book that I got from a thrift store, and I picked out all the irises that were in there, all the iris flowers. I thought that was perfect for being eyes, so I'm using index card, I am using iris, I am also using index card tabs as well that I found at the thrift stores. I was trying to get all the eyes in that I could, but yes, I'm just using the scrapbook paper. There was one that was like a distressed blue, kind of like a denim color, and then it had like white polka dots on it, and it was like the darkest basic design in the scrapbook. So I used that as like the background, the background, like the border, because I wanted to have the other ones kind of stand out, so I kind of wanted a border around everything. So I glued the cards on there first, and then cut that off, and then figured out which background I wanted, and then I also used that same blue for the pictures of the flowers as well. There was no measuring in there. I didn't have a ruler, so I was just kind of working with what I had. I didn't have my paper trimmer. I just had a pair of scissors that my dad just happened to have in his drawer. So yeah, it really brought me back to the beginning, not having things like I do now. And I didn't have a ruler, I didn't have X-Acto knife, I didn't have my trimmers, and so I had to do everything old school, and it was actually kind of nice. It kind of made me remember things differently, working with what I got, thinking outside the box of ways how to make it work. But it was kind of nice, and I didn't have my art glitter glue, but I was able to find glue stick finally. So I stocked up on those, and I've been using that, and it actually even worked gluing these little index tabs that I'm putting on. I really liked those. I liked how this time I found these ones were bigger than the old ones that I found, and they had blue ones and then like this off-white one. But I also thought about adding a little bit of lace on here that I got from a thrift store as well. And so I couldn't believe it, but the glue stick actually worked with the lace. Normally I always use my art glitter glue for that, and it actually worked. And I use the permanent glue stick. I think that might have something to do with it. I tend to use Elmer's or Scotch. It depends which one I'm able to find at a reasonable price. And they actually had those ones on sale, so I was really excited, so I stocked up on them. And then here, I also took the name of the flowers as well and tried to add them on there. I was like, I didn't know if I wanted the front or the back. Also, the back of the card sucks because I didn't realize till I started doing this that the index cards that I bought from Walmart was actually blank. I didn't get the ones where it's blank on one side and then lines on the other, which I'm perfectly fine with because I don't necessarily like the new ones with the lines on it because it's so bold. I like the more distressed old vintage ones. And plus, I was planning on covering it anyways. And so on the other side, I found another sheet of paper that had that was white with these like distressed gray lines, and so it kind of made me think of lines to write off of. So that's why I end up gluing that on the back of all of the index cards. I think I end up making like 4 of them, and so this picture of this iris was bigger than the index cards, so I cut it out of the book, but I made sure I didn't cut right on the lines. I want to make sure it was a little bit bigger so that way I could glue the index card on it and then cut the excess off so it'd be exact. And here I'm going to glue the little name on there. And then here's the line paper. So I would glue the back of the index cards and then just glue it right on and then cut the rest of it off. This one, because of the picture being that big, I didn't do a border around it. I was trying to figure out which tab to use, and I think I ended up going with a blue one on this one because there was a blue iris in it as well. And I just used the glue stick and it worked perfectly fine. Although it seemed like it needed more, so I used a scrap piece of that fabric and I thought actually looks kind of cute on there. So you can still see the blue, because then you have the lace on it, so I thought that gave more springy feel to it, spring feel. And again, the glue stick worked perfectly fine. It made it glue on really good, actually. I was surprised. And I really like that, so I got another one of the index card tabs out so I could get the right amount of the lace that I needed and just kind of trimmed. And then I kind of used it as like my template and then glued the lace onto the other side of the one that I already have glued down. And I kind of like that. Alright, now I think this is the third one. And again, this is the paper that I kept using for like adding the border, so it helped made the picture stand out. And so just glue them down, give a little bit of a border, no measurements, just kind of eyeballing it. And then by hand, just cutting it by hand, fussy cutting, well, not really fussy cutting, but I also was doing the same thing with the card as well. And now I'm trying to find which other picture I wanted to do as my background. I want it lighter than the blue, of course. And I kind of like these flowers, but then when I put the flower on there, it just kind of blended in. It didn't really stand out much. I really liked the plaid, because then I found these little flowers and I actually liked that, and it had a lot of the same colors going on, so I used this one this time. And how I did this, because I didn't have any ruler or anything to measure with, I just kind of moved, like I lined it up and then I just moved it to, to the corner a little bit more to how much of a border I wanted around it, and then just trim it off. And granted, I didn't always make it completely perfectly straight. Like, I noticed that it was a little crooked on the top. Tried to straighten it, but I thought, you know what, I'll just use the index card, because the index card is straight, and that helped a lot. And so I was able to fix that, and then just gluing that down. And so that's how I did my measurement, just sliding a little bit down and to the side to how much of a border I wanted, and then using my index card, to make sure I cut straight, and it actually worked. And now I'm just going to glue the flower on, like so, trying to center it just right. And then I was going through this book that I got, and I was trying to find things to add to it, some embellishment, and I liked this little butterfly, and I thought that was perfect because it was orange, and there is orange in the center of the iris. And so I'm just going to fussy cut that really quick with these scissors. It was hard not having my little fussy cutting scissors. Instead, I only had these big scissors to work with. But it worked. I made it work. And then I'm just going to glue that down towards the right. I really like that. And then again, I'm going to add the paper with the gray lines in the back. And I had to make sure that they were facing the correct way. And then just touching up on any parts that I missed or didn't glue enough. And then I was debating doing a tab on this one, but I thought it didn't quite need one. But I did see that scrap piece of the lace, and I thought maybe I can do it kind of in a triangle, and I can kind of use that as to add some texture on the corners. And I only did 2 corners, and so I did the bottom right and the top left. And I just used the glue stick, and it worked. I was surprised. Press it on really good, and then I just cut off any parts that were hanging off the card. And there's another one. Alright, so my phone was dying, so I stopped and finished them off while I let my phone charge for a little bit more. But as you can see, I fussy cut some corners I put on the back. I thought that was really cute. It was from like in that book with from King Company, Scrapbooking. Here's a close-up of this one, and I really liked the lace on the index card tab. And then here is the third one. There's the little butterfly, and then I did the saying of the name of the flower, and I bordered that as well. I didn't do anything in the back on this one, but this was the last one I made when my phone died. Again, I bordered the name of the flower, and I put that on there. I actually cut 2 little tiny butterflies out as well, and I also found the strip that I cut out. I cut out the little bow, and I also cut out a little button. There you can kind of see the lines better. It was really cute and easy. I know it wasn't fancy or anything, but I worked with what I had. These are what I cut all the ephemera out of from the King Company. But it really made me look outside the box and work with what I had. And I hope this kind of inspired you if you don't have certain things. But if you like it, give a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe. And I'll talk to you later. Bye.